welcome back to Chortle Cast. I'm Jake. This is Gatsby. He's my cat. He's been in a couple streams lately, so I figured since this is a Jake solo special, I would make it even more special by adding Gatsby. So, you're welcome. But anyway, if you didn't know, this is Chortle Cast, the official podcast of Chortle Games, where we talk about video games, movies, TV shows, anime, whatever the heck we want to talk about. And we've got a great show for you this week. It is a Jake Solo special with bonus friend Gatsby, so be excited about that. But we're going to be talking about, because of that, there are a couple topics of news bits that happened this week that I'm just kind of passing on because they're either things that Steven would know more about or have more to say. So I'm just kind of abandoning those in favor of things that I have more to say about. So we're going to talk about the new Spider-Man Far From Home trailer and how cool that was. We're going to talk about the future of Destiny, which we have some new news bits on. And then we're also going to talk about Netflix raising its prices again, which is ridiculous. But before we do any of that, we're going to do a little bit of catch up. This is how we start off every show. And it's where we talk about what we've been playing or watching. So Gatsby, what have you been playing or watching? Anything interesting? He's not saying anything. He's just purring. He likes this new spot, and I think he's decided. It took him a minute to get there, but he has decided he likes it. For those of you that are audio listeners, you are really missing out on some Gatsby cam right now. But I do want to say, this is our 97th episode of Chortle Cast, and I know it's already off the rails. It's just because I have a cat and I'm distracted. But this is the 97th episode of Chortle Cast. Our 100th episode is coming up quickly. So we are going to be doing a special live episode of Chortle Cast for the 100th episode. That's going to be February... Let me look at my calendar to make sure. February 11th. We're going to be doing a live 100th episode. We're still working out some of the kinks that are going to happen for that, but it's going to be very exciting. And I think what we're going to do is we are going to be talking about some of our favorite moments that we've had from Chortle Cast and then just Chortle Games in general. So if you want to share some of your favorite moments, you can do that the same way that you would normally be a part of the show, which is to email us at chortlecast@gmail.com. Or you can write in on our Discord, which you can get to by going to chortlegames.com and clicking on the Discord icon on our YouTube channel banner. Isn't that right, Toby? It's a cat cast, okay, everybody? We're off the rails. So, like I said, catch up. I'm off the rails, I know, I'm sorry. So I have been playing a fair amount of new things this week. I have been playing some more Moonlighter, still really enjoying that. I got through the first dungeon, for anyone who's played it, the Golem dungeon, and I've moved on to the Forest dungeon, which is still difficult. I'm still learning the ropes of that one, but I've just kind of faded away from that because I've been home this week. I haven't been traveling like I normally am, so I haven't had as much time in that. I've done a little bit of Destiny. I've kind of just been in and out, but I really just kind of been not over Destiny, but just kind of like I want to play something else. Which fortunately for me, Kingdom Hearts is, next week. So I'll have something that I really am going to want to sink my teeth into, but I didn't want to spend a ton of time in Destiny. So I went back and played the Spider-Man DLCs, which I purchased before Christmas, but I was like, I don't have time to play these right now, but I know I will eventually. And I've been playing through those, and I've really, really enjoyed them. They're really, really nice story beats to just kind of continue to flesh out who this Spider-Man is and what he's already experienced in his world. The Black Cat DLC was really, really cool. It had a really interesting arc. I don't want to spoil it for anyone, but it had a really, really interesting arc and potential that story could have done. But it kind of fizzles out towards the end. And then I just beat the Hammerhead one this week. which is the second DLC, and it was okay. It was all right. I didn't enjoy it as much as the first one. And then the last one, the Silver Lining DLC, I haven't finished yet, but I have started. And it seems to be going pretty well. They're all fairly short, which isn't a complaint. Spider-Man was kind of a shorter game to begin with. I want to say it was like 21 hours or something to beat the story. But then there's all this side content. The nice thing about the DLCs is they came with some more side content to do. So it was very fun. And then of course the new spider suits are really nice, cool additions. I've been using the black armor spider suit. I forget what it's called. It's like the Agent Venom armor or something. Anyway, very cool stuff. Been enjoying that. Having a good time. Wish they were a little bit longer, but yeah, they are very, very short. I think I beat the first 2 DLCs in 3.5 hours maybe or so, which I didn't spend as much time doing the side quest stuff as I did in the original game. So, but anyway, been fun. I really enjoyed that. And then this Tuesday for Team Up Tuesday, Steven was unavailable. He had something he had to do, so I took over and we just did a Jake and Gatsby. That was actually where the first cat cam came from. But we played this game called Vane, which is an indie game. It just came out this week. It came out Tuesday. And it's a Limbo Journey style indie game that's just kind of very ambiguous. There's no dialogue, but there's like an underlying story that you're just kind of supposed to pick up on. It's got an interesting art style. It's very artsy. The flying as a bird while it has its difficult spots and difficult control issues here and there, overall it was really fun, and it's really cool the way it works. You can turn into a human and interact with things, and then if you fall, you'll turn into a bird again and can fly, and then if you go to a certain spot, you can turn back into a human. And so there's a nice kind of puzzle element to that, but it was very freeing. I felt like there were a couple times that I had really, really fun moments where I was a human and I was ready to be a bird, and I just kind of like victoriously jumped off the edge and became a bird, and that was just very kind of fun and exciting to do. But man, that game needs some work. It has some issues. It is very glitchy, and especially towards the end, like some of the controls I just had issues with at the beginning, but I think I eventually overcame those. But towards the end of the game just kind of broke for us. We had several times where mechanics just weren't working. I don't think it's a spoiler, but there's a moment where you're working with these other characters, and you're having to push this giant ball to try and get it to go places. Well, the very first time we tried this, the AI would not work with me. Like, they just stopped pushing. And you're not supposed to be able to push it by yourself, but I figured out a way to. And I think I broke a lot in this first attempt, because the orb, you could do this thing where you yell at it and it would start like pulsing, but it would only pulse as long as you screamed at it. For whatever reason, it broke and just wouldn't stop pulsing and screaming. So I was rolling it, which I wasn't supposed to be able to do, and it was screaming, which it wasn't supposed to be able to do. So a lot of things were working out that weren't supposed to. Eventually, the ball fell off the map, and I had to restart. The second time, everything worked fine. We progressed through. Well, we almost did. The ball got stuck, but the AI worked and everything. So third time, we finally got past like just the main, the hump of this issue puzzle. And then we solved some puzzles. Went around and around, and finally got stuff figured out. But then we're pushing the ball. Everything's working fine, and we push the ball down this hill, and our character gets stuck as if they're pushing, but the ball's not there anymore. And I couldn't stop pushing, and I couldn't turn, I couldn't do anything. I was just stuck pushing. And so my person just pushed right off the edge of the map, and I thought, okay, he's going to fall, he's going to die, and we're going to be fine. Like, this is not going to be a big deal. We'll be all right. Or I actually kind of thought he would fall, turn into a bird, and we'd be okay. No. He just fell, like, through the map, like, through the part that, like, if you got too low, you would die. And I was just, like, on the bottom of the world, just pushing, and, like, you could look up and see the rest of the map. Anyway, so we were stuck perpetually pushing, and it was very frustrating. So I I quit and restarted, and it started us at the beginning where we had the original issues, and I was just like, you know what, that's it. That's the end of this stream, and I haven't gone back. I don't necessarily plan to go back or intend to go back, but yeah, it wasn't great. It was not great. Oh, Gatsby's showing a little cat butt. See, if you're an audio listener, you're missing out on all this fun cat action. He's just decided to turn his back on all of you guys. Silly kitten. But anyway, that's about the bulk of what I've played. I haven't watched anything much this week. I have been watching a lot of gameplay footage of Days Gone, which is now available for pre-order. A lot of people are taking a big dump on this game, and while I'll agree that it doesn't look like it's anything special, it doesn't look bad, and in fact, it does have this really cool thing. I mean, like, the amount of zombies they can have on screen at once. I mean, I think I watched some gameplay where there were the developer that was talking. He was like, I'm pretty sure there's like 300 zombies at one time in this fight that you're in, and you have to like slowly thin them out. Which I think that's pretty impressive. But anyway, a lot of people have been taking dumps on this game because it's been delayed and there have been issues, you know. But I mean, I'll admit it doesn't look like anything crazy, but I don't think it deserves all the hate it's getting. But anyway, I've been watching a lot of that because I pre-ordered that this week. I'm starting to get kind of excited and ready to try it. I will be streaming it. I'll probably be doing a Let's Play on it. So that may be a Jake and Gatsby solo special live stream again, but who knows. So I'm looking forward to that. And then haven't watched a lot of Anthem gameplay this week. Hasn't been as much big news. One of the news stories was going to be talking about Division. They had a big live stream this week, and I think Steven he got some weird package delivered to him about Division 2. So maybe next week we can catch up on some of that if you're interested. But I am getting Division 2. I have pre-ordered Division 2. I at this point I could care less about Division 2. So I'm excited for Steven, and I'm excited to try it out with Steven, but he is the mastermind for that game. But anyway, all right, let's move on into some of this news. So we got our first. We'll get to Spider-Man. That's kind of the big thing I want to talk about. But the first thing I'll talk about is Netflix is raising its prices. Now this is kind of a smaller announcement, smaller news piece, but we have talked about it before, and I did want to bring it up here. Netflix is once again raising its subscription prices in the U.S. This was reported by CNBC. Netflix basic SD package is going up from $8 a month to $9 a month. Its standard HD plan is going from $11 a month to $13 a month. And its premium 4K plan is going up from $14 to $16 a month, which is just crazy. So I'm pretty sure I have the standard HD plan, which was $11 and going up to $13. That plan used to be cheaper than $11. There was a price increase not that long ago. I mean, within the time that we've been doing Chortle Cast, and again, we're not even to 100 episodes yet, which I guess that's a long time, but we've only been doing Chortle Cast for less than a year, maybe 2 years at this point. But anyway, within that time frame, they've raised their prices already, and now here again, they're raising them again. And 11 to 13, that's $2 more a month. Isn't a huge deal, but it is a pretty big price jump. I'm waiting for it to become 15 a month, and then that's where I might have to question. But anyway, just very interesting. Basically, Netflix just said that this is going to be going towards more content, better streaming, better stability, and all this and that. I don't know. It's I love Netflix. I love a lot of the shows that are on there. I've been watching a lot. Stranger Things season 3 is coming. I'm excited about this Carmen Sandiego animated series that they've got going. She-Ra was a good thing. Obviously, Bird Box has been very successful. There's a lot of great stuff on there. But I'm as a person who is now saving, trying to get a house, seeing that a subscription that I've been paying for that I maybe have questioned at one point or another, oh man, do I still need this? Seeing that it is getting a price increase does not exactly, really just fill me with confidence. So anyway, I'm nervous about that one, but I'm curious. I'm honestly curious how many more times are they going to raise it before they're satisfied. But I'm starting to question for myself, like, how much is going to be too much for Netflix? And I feel like it'd have to probably be somewhere in the $20 a month range. But, 15 even is where, and we're not that far from 15, is where I'm kind of like, geez, do I really need Netflix? But we kind of do. I don't know. We don't have cable, me and Lee Allison. We just have internet. So Netflix kind of is our source for all TV and TV shows. So not having Netflix would kind of be a hit to our entertainment board. But again, we also watch a lot of YouTube. And, I don't know. And I play a lot of video games. So how much do we really need it? But anyway, if you didn't know about that, now you do. You can consider if you want to stick with that plan or not. Or maybe drop down to the SD plan, see if that works out better for you. And the other thing, I have a lot to say about Spider-Man, so I'm kind of pushing us to there. Destiny franchise director Luke Smith has made a statement, basically kind of saying what the future is going to be. Basically, he said the short-term plan is to continue building the content they've promised for the annual pass. So we've been doing the Black Armory right now. Joker's Wild, the thing focusing on the Drifter, is what's next. And then the third part of the annual pass Destiny content this year is an unnamed package, but it has a robot in it. A lot of people are thinking it's going to be Crucible related. I think it's going to be who's going to fill that third Vanguard slot related. We'll see. But that's they're working on that. And then he says they basically want to find a line between new content that many players can play and then aspirational content for players to progress towards. They're exploring improvements to catch up mechanics for players who are who are just coming in late. He didn't really talk much about the longer term. He said they are committed to Bungie. They created this universe and they hold, they love it. They want to continue it. He explains that the vast majority of Bungie is working on the future. But that's all they really kind of gave us. So we had known that, or we had assumed, I think more so, that the content that they were doing with the annual pass was not going to falter. That's what kind of was the initial call. We're now hearing it from some higher ups, like that is the plan, that is what we're working on. But we now know for sure the majority of their team is working on what's next. And the big question is that going to be Destiny 3, or like we said, whatever they call it, is that what it's going to be? Or is it going to be, annual pass year 2, or whatever the next thing is? Are they just going to stick with Destiny 2 into the future, or are they going to do a third thing? The more and more I think about it, I just think it makes sense for them to do a Destiny 3. They take the number off, they just say Destiny, and go from there. But it's possible, because Destiny 2 Forsaken, they've kind of been saying with the Forsaken update, with the they've just kind of been calling it Destiny Forsaken. It's possible that they could maybe do a rebrand with the next big update, but who knows? But it's good to know they're not dropping this series. They're not dropping this world they've built. They are working on something new, and we wait with anticipation to see what that next thing is. Gatsby is really loving Destiny content. You can tell he's just flicking his tail. He doesn't care. He's a great podcast guest. Gatsby, you're doing a great job. Okay. All right, so let's talk about that Spider-Man Far From Home trailer. So this dropped earlier this week. I've had a lot of thoughts on it. Watched it a couple times. First off, the Spider-Man orchestra piece was awesome. Hearing, what has been Spider-Man's theme for so many years put into an orchestra and used seriously was really kind of cool. Every other movie has kind of had its own Spider-Man orchestra piece theme that they've made, and then the Spider-Man would somehow turn up in there somewhere, but never necessarily orchestra. So to see that as like the theme, his theme from so long ago being the theme in this music in the movie was really cool. Far From Home looks good. Very crazy to be seeing Spider-Man knowing that he's dead right now, but that he is okay. I don't remember seeing Aunt May see him in the Spider-Man suit. Apparently that was part of the end of Spider-Man Homecoming. I guess I missed that or forgot that part. But I was initially surprised that she knew who Spider-Man was or knew that he was Spider-Man. But I thought also like, oh, maybe that's something that happens in Infinity War. Like she knows for sure. Who knows? But anyway, his mom's okay. New York seems to be okay. Happy and his mom and Aunt, no, I say mom, Aunt May and Happy are kind of having a little thing. Everybody seems to be okay. But anyway, he's going on a trip, traveling to Europe for summer vacation. Doesn't take the spider suit because he wants a break. I guess it was Kevin Feige. Marvel has said before that Spider-Man Homecoming or Far From Home, following up Avengers 2 Endgame, the whole plot and theme is kind of being like, or their idea is Spider-Man is kind of the everyday man. He's the closest to us. He's one of the only heroes in the Marvel Cinematic Universe that has a secret identity. So the whole plan is that, how do we come down from this monumental, like world-shattering thing? How do we come down from that? And they were like, Spider-Man's kind of our answer to that, because he, similar to all of us, will be looking at Endgame and what just happened, and it's like, how do you go back to normal, So anyway, but I think him wanting to leave his suit and just kind of take a break is very, very true to just after what's all happened, and we don't even know what's all happened yet. I think that's a very honest response there. But anyway, he's in Europe. He's traveling around. He and MJ are starting to get a little flirtatious. And initially, I was nervous about this Michelle character being MJ. But the more I've sat on it, and especially after watching this trailer, I'm 100% on board. I think it's great. I love her as MJ, and I really like their chemistry already. So I'm on board 100%. I'm all about it. I'm just waiting for his friend. I can't remember his name now. Ned. I'm waiting for him to somehow be related to Harry Osborn or something, and just be, oh, my name's really Harry, but they call me Ned or something. I'm waiting for that, but I hope they don't do that twice. But anyway, I'm all about MJ. I'm all about this Spider-Man MJ stuff going on. Nick Fury is okay. We see that in the trailer as well. Not a huge surprise, but honestly a little bit of a surprise. Of all the people to survive, I wasn't sure that Nick Fury would be it. I didn't know how much more Samuel L. Jackson wanted to do with this series, or these movies. I'm sure he loves the role, but who knows? But anyway, he's there. The real question is, The real question that I have, the ball that I'm waiting to hear drop at the end of Endgame, is that something changes. We know there's a lot of time travel involved. We've talked about Captain Marvel apparently being able to time travel. Time travel is supposedly going to be a huge theme in Endgame. I am really nervous that whatever they change is going to affect something, and I wonder if the Skrull invasion is going to become full force, and that's going to kind of be the next underlying like villain that we're dealing with. And I'm just nervous, curious if Nick Fury is going to end up being a Skrull somehow. I don't know how. I don't know why. I'm just throwing that out there. My initial thoughts, because we don't know anything about Endgame yet. But anyway, Nick Fury shows up. He's like, "What's up, Spider-Man? We need your help. Get your suit on." And Peter doesn't necessarily argue with him in that moment. I'm curious to see how that's going to go in the movie itself. But we then see him in a bunch of new spider suits. He's got this cool red and black spider suit that kind of is a red and black version of the Stark suit. I really like it. We see the stealth suit, kind of the Spider-Man noir look, which was very, very cool. But anyway, basically the Elementals, which is Hydra Man, and then I'm not sure who the other, I think there's three. There's like it looks like Sandman, and there's one that's fire. Obviously Hydra Man is water. I can't remember if there's another one that's like wind or something. I don't think so, though. But anyway, there's a villain group called the Elementals that are rampaging through Europe. It looks like Fury and somebody else on his team. We assume it's a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent. From the back, it kind of looks like Carol Danvers, so that might be kind of an interesting twist if that somehow works out. I don't know. It could be Agent 13, Agent Carter's daughter, who's in S.H.I.E.L.D. now. Anyway, don't know. They're there. They're fighting the Elementals. Spider-Man's coming to help. We hear these speeches from Fury just kind of saying, like, are you going to step up, or are you going to, are you going to let this, what are you going to do when your friends are in trouble, yada, yada, yada. Just kind of inspirational stuff. And in the middle of this fight, we see Peter, not Spider-Man, just Peter Parker, like kind of up balanced, like watching this Hydra monster, trying to figure out what he's going to do. And then puff of smoke, Mysterio pops up, Jake Gyllenhaal, and he's like, "Kid, you don't want none of this." And then he starts shooting magic and everything, and fighting. He's fighting the Hydra Man. So much like the rumors we had heard, it seems like Jake Gyllenhaal playing Mysterio is some sort of, he's acting as a hero, and he and Spider-Man are fighting alongside each other. Now, if you don't know, Mysterio is a classic Spider-Man villain. He's been a Spider-Man villain for a very long time. I have not seen any references of him being a hero before necessarily. There have been several people who have been Mysterio, but none that ever really were operating as a hero. So it's very interesting that all of this is happening. I love the costume. I like where the character's going already. Excuse me. I hope they dive into a little bit how he works, because there's a funny clip at the end where the kids are all watching him on TV, and some kids like, he's like Iron Man and Thor put together. He's so cool. And then that's where I think it's Flash. He's like, "What, Spider-Man? He's no Spider-Man." And MJ's like, "What is it with you and Spider-Man?" And he's like, "What? He protects the neighborhood. He's a good guy. I got a lot of respect for him." And then Peter kind of walks up and is like, "Wow, really, Flash? I didn't know you cared so much." And he was like, "What's up, dickwad?" And I love Tom Holland's like thumbs up, kind of like, "All right, man, cool," reaction to that. But anyway, they describe him as that, like Iron Man and Thor kind of mixed together. From everything I've seen, I almost wonder if the better description would be he looks like Iron Man and Doctor Strange put together, because Mysterio's whole thing is illusions and tricks of the mind. He's a special effects master who went to villainy, yada yada yada. I wonder if he's gonna have just very basic magic training, kind of like Doctor Strange has, because when he like casts his smoke out, it has a very similar look to Doctor Strange's magic, but it almost looks like half done. So I wonder if he has some magic, but then he also has some tech that he's using to kind of propel himself along and help out where his magic is failing. So I hope they dive into that a little bit, because it looks very interesting, and I'm curious how related that's all going to be as we go down the line. But the costume looks great. He looks very true to the character. I like how it looks modern. And I like how I don't know if he's an American hero, if he's going to be a European hero, or what it's going to be. But I kind of like the idea of him being like a European hero, and Spider-Man shows up, and it's just like, hey man, let's get together, let's do this, yada, yada, yada. So here's what I really think is going on. I don't think Mysterio is actually a hero. I think he is kind of a syndrome character, like from the Avengers, or not Avengers, the Incredibles. I think he is pulling kind of a similar thing there. I think he has made the illusion of the elementals, and is fighting them to make himself appear like a hero and kind of earn some glory and some fame and maybe get some money out of it somehow. I don't know. So I'm very curious to see where this is going to go. In early rumors and viewings of a trailer, people described that it looked like he was working for Nick Fury. I did not get that impression from this trailer, so I'm not sure where that impression came from like the preview that had been shown before at a Comic-Con. I'm not sure where that impression came from. Maybe we'll see another trailer later, and it does look like he's working for Nick Fury. If he's working for Nick Fury, I'm going to be very curious to see how he's tricking us like this. And in that case, I wonder if maybe Spider-Man coming and showing him up is just going to make him mad, and he's going to go after Spider-Man. I don't know. But right now, I feel like he is causing the issues so that he can be a hero. And I think Spider-Man is somehow going to get in the way of that. And that's going to make him hate Spider-Man and become a villain, Spider-Man villain. But anyway, I'm just very curious to see how this is going to go, because we're going to knock out a lot of Spider-Man's rogue gallery here in one movie with the Elementals and Hydra Man and potentially Sandman and Mysterio. So I'm very curious to see where that's all going to go and how they're going to handle all that. But anyway, that's my big thing. And with the podcast being we're catching up on all the news from last week. You may have heard this before, but that's kind of been my hot take on it from the get-go, is that he is gonna end up he's tricking us. He isn't really a hero, but he's acting like one so that we can get past him. But anyway, that's the news for this week. Hey everybody, thanks for watching this episode of Chortle Cast. We do hope you enjoyed it. If you did, there's a couple things you can do to help us out. Number one, if you're watching on youtube.com/ChortleGames or ChortleGames.com, you can leave a like on this video, share it with your friends, and leave a comment. Let us know what you think about these theories and topics we've talked about. Do you think Mysterio is going to be a villain? Do you think he's really a hero? I'd love to know. Are you mad that Netflix is raising their prices? What do you think they're going to do with Destiny? Let me know in the comments. If you're an audio listener, you're listening through iTunes podcast, and we appreciate you. We'd really appreciate it if you would leave us a review. Let us know what you thought of the show. That really helps the podcast get found by other people who are looking for some fun video game podcasts talking about news and hanging out and chatting. But share that would be a great help for us. You can also email us at chortlecast@gmail.com and be a part of the show. You can write in on news topics or news stories that you've heard throughout the week that you think we would be interested in and you're interested in hearing our thoughts on. You can also do that through our Discord. If you go to chortlegames.com and look on the YouTube banner page, you'll see the Discord icon, and you can we have a whole channel dedicated to the podcast there, so you can write in questions and submit news stories that you'd like to hear us talk about. And then last but not least, you can follow us on social medias, Facebook, Chortle Games, or at Chortle Games on Facebook and at Chortle Games on Twitter. So keep up there. We always post when we're going live. If someone, if a new Let's Play comes out or when the podcast even comes up, we can do that. So the podcast is not the only thing that we do on this channel. We have a lot of stuff, content 6 days a week right now. On Mondays, 12 o'clock Central Time, we have the podcast. That's what you're listening to right now. Normally, it's me and Steven today. It's just me and Gatsby. Thank you, Gatsby, for being such a good little host buddy. He perked up for that. On Tuesday, we do a live stream. Typically, we call it Team Up Tuesday. We play a co-op live stream game. Gatsby's pawing at the green screen. He likes that, apparently. Typically on Tuesdays, we do Team Up Tuesday. It's where we play a co-op game. I don't know what we're playing this Tuesday, but it will most likely be actually a co-op game. I don't know that I'll be a part because I will be traveling again this week, going to Virginia Beach, Virginia. So that'll be fun. On Wednesday, we have, normally that is our Let's Play slot, but something we're trying to do this year is we're trying to do some new things this year. So we're doing a try not to laugh challenge. Steven and I did. So we're going to have that. It's, it's something different. We're just trying a couple different things this year to kind of mix it up and spice up the channel a little bit. So you'll have that on Wednesday. On Thursday, Steven will continue his Let's Play or live stream series. He's playing through the Uncharted series right now. He's in Uncharted 3. So if you like that game or a fan of that game, or maybe you never played that game and don't feel like you ever will, you can go watch Steven play. It's one of his favorite series, so you can really hear from somebody who enjoyed it, why they enjoyed it, and see some of the gameplay and everything. And then on Friday, we are going to be Friday and Saturday. We do a live stream both of those days. Both of those live streams will most likely be Anthem this week. The Anthem demo starts. If you have pre-ordered Anthem, you have access to this demo. If you haven't pre-ordered it yet, maybe you're still on the fence about it, come watch us. We're going to be playing. I'm sure we're going to have lots of thoughts as we go through and continue to play. I think Gatsby is getting ready to pounce off of this platform that he's got here. You need me to wrap up the show for you, buddy? Or are you just ready to go? Anyway, that's what we're going to be doing Friday and Saturday, playing Anthem. So if you are excited about that, hope you'll join us there to see what that's all about. And just like that, I lost Gatsby, so I think that's where we wrap the show. Thank you guys for watching. We will see you guys next week. Bye.